The day I found my grandmother sitting alone on a cold park bench, something inside me broke in a way I didn't recognize. She wasn't just sitting there, she was waiting. Her hands trembled slightly as she held on to her worn handbag, the same one she had carried for years. Her eyes searched every passing face like she still believed someone was coming back for her. "Grandma?" I whispered, my voice barely holding together. She looked up at me slowly and smiled. That smile shattered me more than anything else. "Oh, you came," she said softly. "I thought maybe they got busy." They, my parents. I knelt beside her, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my heart already racing with a truth I didn't want to accept. She hesitated, then said something I will never forget. "They told me to wait here, just for a little while." A little while. The sun was already going down. The air was getting colder, and my grandmother, who raised me, who fed me when my parents were too busy chasing their own lives, had been sitting there for hours, alone. I helped her stand, holding her fragile hand as we walked to my car. "Did you eat anything?" I asked gently. She shook her head. "They said we'd go for dinner after." That was the moment something inside me shifted. Not just pain, not just anger, something deeper, something colder. Because this wasn't forgetfulness, this wasn't confusion, this was abandonment. But what I didn't know that day was how much worse the truth really was. Because leaving her in that park wasn't the worst thing my parents had done. That night, I brought Grandma home with me. I made her tea, wrapped her in a blanket, and sat beside her while she slowly relaxed. She kept asking if my parents had called, if maybe something urgent came up. I couldn't answer, because deep down, I already knew. The next morning, I went to my parents' house. I didn't call first, I didn't knock softly. I walked in. My mother looked up from the couch, surprised but not worried. "Oh, you took her?" she said casually. Took her, like my grandmother was an inconvenience someone had picked up. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice steady but tight. My father sighed, not even looking at me. "She's been getting difficult," he said, not even looking at me. "A break?" I stared at them, trying to process the words. "You left her in a park," I said slowly. My mother rolled her eyes. "We knew you'd find her eventually." That sentence hit harder than anything else. They didn't forget her. They planned it. Then my father added something that made everything colder. "Besides, most of her expenses come from her pension. It's not like we're gaining anything." I froze. Her pension. A thought flashed through my mind. "Where is her money?" I asked. Silence. Too much silence. That was the moment everything changed. Over the next few days, I started looking into it. Bank statements, transfers, withdrawals, everything led back to them. They hadn't just abandoned her. They'd been using her pension for months, maybe longer. While she believed they were taking care of her, they were quietly draining everything she had. I sat there one night, holding the documents in my hands, feeling something inside me harden. This wasn't just betrayal, this was calculated, cold, and they thought no one would ever question it. But they forgot one thing, me. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to stay quiet. I didn't confront them right away. Instead, I did something they never expected. I helped my grandmother open a new bank account, transferred what was left of her pension, and quietly contacted a legal advisor. Everything was documented, every withdrawal, every transfer, every moment they thought no one was watching. Then, one afternoon, I invited them over. They walked into my apartment like nothing had happened. My mother smiled. "So, are you keeping her now?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time, I felt nothing. No fear, no need for approval, just clarity. "I know about the money," I said calmly. The room went still. My father frowned. "What are you talking about?" I placed the documents on the table, one by one. Silence stretched between us. Their confidence faded. My mother tried to speak, but her voice didn't hold. It's not what it looks like. It looks exactly like what it is. No shouting, no anger, just truth. And sometimes truth is louder than anything else. Within weeks, everything changed. They were forced to return what they could. They lost access to her finances completely. And more importantly, they lost her trust. My grandmother moved in with me permanently. At first, she still asked about them, still hoped they would visit. But slowly, she began to understand. Not everything needs to be explained when actions speak so clearly. Months later, I took her back to that same park, not because she wanted to go, but because I needed to. We sat on that same bench, this time together. "You know," she said softly, "I don't feel lonely anymore." I smiled, holding her hand, because in that moment, everything that was broken had started to heal. And I learned something I will never forget. Sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you fail, but that doesn't mean you stay quiet, because protecting the ones who once protected you is not revenge, it's justice, and sometimes it's love finding its way back.